Come fly with me, let's fly away. If you can use some exotic cruise, there's a far from
Wow.
Wow. Drones. That is a, look at that. That's a drone. Live in our studio. Drones are so popular. Many people fly them as a hobby.
Yep, and a lot of businesses also use them for commercial purposes. The Consumer Electronics Association expects 700,000 drones to be sold in the U.S. this year.
So yesterday, Paradise Valley City Council continued their talk about drones in their town.
Yes, James Arrowood from the Fruitkin Law Group attended the meeting. He is here with us this morning to talk a little bit about that, of course, and the future of drones. You're always kind of our drone go-to
I
expert.
am. The
You're
tech
the
guy,
drone
I guess,
guy.
in
You're the
town.
drone guy, yeah.
For one thing, we say this is very loud.
Loud.
It is loud, and that's important. I actually wanted people to hear this so that they understand that those people who are concerned about privacy, for instance, these cannot sneak up on you like many people think they can.
Yeah.
And you can hear even still today that, I mean, that's what it sounds like.
Well, that's the thing. People are worried about their privacy and the sense of voyeurism, if you will. But if
They have
you're like,
cameras.
yeah, they have cameras, of course. But I mean, you would know that
right.
was overhead.
Somebody would know that's overhead, and the technology itself on the cameras on these, it's not advanced enough like people think. It's not spy movies.
Where they can go like...
Yeah, the camera's just not big enough where they can
hover over
zoom
your
in.
house, zoom into your bedroom and see you undressing.
That cannot do that.
Okay.
Sorry. Sorry, yeah, let's be clear on that.
What did they decide over at Paradise Valley?
Well, I saw a unicorn last night, and by that I mean I saw politics work the way it's supposed to work. It was unbelievable.
So what happened?
Well,
what did they decide?
The town attorney, Andrew Miller, he was given an edict by the mayor to come up with an ordinance that was unique and that accounted for business and commerce and personal use and those sorts of things. And 6 months later, he came up with what I think is one of the best ordinances in the country. Mm-hmm. And I've reviewed almost everyone in the country. That's how crazy my life is. Sometimes it's are sad, but it is really a good example of how politics should work. Now, they didn't pass it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So initially, they just wanted to ban everything.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right.
Yeah.
So they talked to industry, and industry said, that's not fair, that violates the FAA, we can't do that. Mm-hmm. Okay? So they went back to the drawing board and came back after speaking with industry and came up with some solutions from industry.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's then hope, then I guess, if you will, that there will be some sort of resolution as to allowing these in certain aspects to certain people.
They needed to account for industry.
Okay.
And so last night they went back and they looked at what they have, the draft. They said this is really good, but it needs to be one of the best because otherwise you're going to get challenged legally.
Okay. What are the industrial applications of drones?
Well, I'm glad you asked. The technology, even since I've been here in the last 3 months, has just exploded in terms of what it can do. There's something called hyperspectral imaging, which a company called Precision Hawk out of North Carolina does. And this technology in Arizona, it's highly relevant because for ranchers or for agriculture or for mining, it took NASA technology, put it in a software algorithm where it can actually show you whether crops are too dry in the middle of a whole patch, acres and acres of land. It can say this little patch is too dry.
Wow.
And farmers couldn't do that before.
Yeah.
Growers couldn't do that.
Gives them a heads
Or
up.
mining, you can see gold.
Really?
Mineralization.
Wow.
It's unbelievable.
Okay.
Now, what about for us, like
we know that these are going to be the hottest Christmas gifts.
sale.
Yeah.
Now that one runs about $4 grand, so that's a little out of my price range.
That's right.
But for the average Joe,
Well, for the person at the average consumer place,
Camera 5.
Show
this is what you're looking at for kids, for teenagers, what have you. This is, when I bought it, was actually expensive. But today, these are $50, and it actually has a fully functioning camera.
And it gets pretty good shots?
It's decent image. It's fun for the pets, for YouTube, whatever. The dogs think it's hilarious. Well, I think it's hilarious watching the dogs. But the point is this isn't going to zoom into anybody's house, number one.
Okay.
And number two, now that the noise has gone down.
You don't have to yell now.
Yeah, you don't have to yell. This is still loud enough to where
you would notice.
Yes, you're going to notice it.
Cool, and it's got a little.
We have a little
control.
remote and a case.
Right.
I mean, this whole thing is this big.
Now, the thing that makes the drone
Right.
so easy
This
to
is the
fly
Hudson X4.
is there some kind of software program that's enabling you to keep them stabilized and fly, right?
That's right. And what's strange is that is actually much easier to fly than this, even though this is much smaller. And the reason for that is the software, the brains. This
Yeah.
has such a small brain that when you first start this, and that's why I'm not flying it here, it'll jump on you and do some things. And that's why people break them so quickly.
Yeah.
And you hear about kids losing them so quickly.
Yeah.
Is it's actually trickier to fly. If you learn on this, you can fly one of those pretty easily.
But I can relate to that one with the small.
Well,
Yeah.
But I do have to tell you that there was a drone that came by my house the other night, a couple of weeks ago. I was on the back patio, and it stopped, and I saw a light, and it just stopped. Unless I had too much to drink.
Maybe.
And then it,
That's a whole
and then it
nother
stabilized, and
That's
then
a
it
whole
flew,
nother
and then it flew
problem.
off. And I thought, maybe somebody's watching me smoke a cigar or something. I don't know.
Well, you get to a point where you hope somebody is watching you, because like, you can get some attention here.
Yeah. Anyway,
Thank
thanks
you
a lot.
again.
Of course,
Always
my
nice to
pleasure.
see you.
Thank you for having
So
me.
the price range $50 to $4,000 or
You're
more.
going to see these at every retail store this
Okay.
Christmas.
Put them on
Okay.
your list if you want one.